Welcome, welcome, welcome to Brother Nature. You are looking live way up north at Whitefish Point. I would have expected them to have more snow than us, and I'm going to give you the UP some more credit, but if you take a look around us down here in Metro Detroit at Southfield, we're not exactly avoiding it either. Man, oh man, is it coming down. I have with me Amy McMillan, I guess the leader of the Huron Clinton Metroparks.
I am. I'm the CEO of the Huron Clinton Metroparks.
And she is almost as happy to be outside as I am with all of it coming down. This week we're showcasing another one of our illustrious parks. This one is the Huron Meadows, which is way out in Brighton. So to kind of set the stage, the last time we talked, Amy, we were down in Detroit.
We were, yeah.
Now we're stretching way out to Brighton. Give me the laydown about Huron Meadows.
Okay, so Huron Meadows is one of the metro parks that you might not know about. It might not be the first park that you think about, but it is this great little park right in the general Brighton area. You get off of 23 and you're right there. And at a different time of year, it is much better known for its golf course.
Of course.
But at this time of year, it is known for cross-country skiing. And our cross-country ski course there called Bucks Run, where when the weather is not quite as wintry as it is today, we are making snow, making that cross-country ski area happen. And the golf course is buried under snow, and it's perfect for cross-country skiing.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's right, yeah.
Oh, do tell.
So it is 100% worth the trip to go. If cross-country skiing is your thing, that is the place to be. And it's got to be cold enough to make snow,
Sure.
but we are out there. We are ready to go. So if you're a cross-country skier, or if you want to be a cross-country skier, Huron Meadows is your place.
How long is the cross-country ski loop?
Oh, man, I know you were going to talk. And as soon as you asked me that, it just went out of my head. I think it's
Is it about a mile?
I
or
was
is it-
just going to say about a mile, and then I was like, going around it twice, and that's 2 miles. Yes. Yeah.
Which is, I have to imagine when you're making snow for a whole cross-country skiing course, that has to be a lot of snow, right?
It is a lot of snow. It is something that we do at night. So we have staff members who are out there at all night, making sure the equipment's running. They're out there first thing in the morning, making sure that the snow has happened. We have a really super dedicated crew of folks, well, at all of our parks, but at Huron Meadows, they are committed to cross-country skiing.
So I want to broaden our scope here a little bit. So I'm guessing it's not just cross-country skiing that's available as a winter recreation.
Oh, no. Depending on your tolerance for the weather, like I'm not a winter kind of girl, but I love the beauty of winter. And nature during the winter time, it's really kind of spectacular, right? And it's so much quieter, I think, outside in nature in the winter. And so my favorite thing in the winter is to go walking in the woods. And, speaking of Huron Meadows, we're concentrating on Bucks Run and the cross-country ski area. But Huron Meadows has these beautiful trails through the woods around Maltby Lake, and the views of the lake are spectacular. And it is 100% worth bundling up and getting outdoors and just enjoying the peace and the quiet. If you spend too much time indoors, it's not good for your head. It's not good for, just like your overall well-being. You need that fresh air. You need that connection to nature. And if you can convince some of your friends to go out with you, if you can.
Of course.
Bundle up your dog in his winter coat and head out with you. It's a gorgeous time of year to be outdoors.
Well, and it's a good reminder, too, that just because it might be a little bit colder doesn't mean there's not things to go outside and do, which is sort of one of the benefits of having this park system around us.
Absolutely. So we were talking earlier about one of the things that the Metro Parks do that we're super proud of is we maintain our walking trails, our running trails during the winter time so that, we salt them, we plow them. So if you're out and you're trying to get your miles in, you can go to one of our parks, Kensington, go 8 miles around the lake, head out to Stony and run on the pathways there and get a really great workout. Head out with your friends, go for a walk. it's still a really wonderful time to be out. And if you get cold when you're at Kensington or you're at Stony Creek or at one of our other parks where we have nature centers, you can go inside, right, and warm up. Or we have heated restrooms throughout our parks. It's just, it really is. It's worth just like sucking it up, bundling up, and getting outdoors.
I'm curious, when it comes to accommodating winter weather activities, of course we're looking at a lot of snow right now, aren't we lucky? But that's not always the case, and I even remember the last couple of years, we haven't seen as much actual snowfall. I don't know if that's if you guys sort of rope that into your plan for the future, whether that means making more snow or maybe shifting around activities?
Yeah, it is always just like it's a game time call, right? Because you never know. The forecast is cold, cold, cold for the next couple of weeks, right?
Totally.
So last weekend we had people who were ice fishing out on the lakes who were on these teeny tiny patches of ice, and we were looking at them like, I don't think you should be out there. This weekend they're going to, when they're testing the ice, I'm guessing they're going to have a much bigger area to be out fishing, where people might have had to fish from the docks into the open water last weekend. Probably not so much open water this weekend. So it's all just about taking it as it comes, right? Meeting winter where it is. It's about dressing for the weather. We were talking about that earlier, right? If you want to be outdoors and you want to enjoy being outdoors, you got to put on your boots. You got to put on your gloves, right?
Totally.
Don't worry about your hat and the hair. And yeah, your scarf is going to fluff all over the place. But it's just part of the experience. We don't often get winters like this.
No, we don't. And I try to even remember myself that to enjoy it, to appreciate it, because even if it is a little bit brutal to be outside at times, it's also something that it doesn't always happen. And when it does, it can be beautiful when you look at it, you know?
Right. And actually, winter has its place in making sure that, it gives everything a rest, right? And so it's important for the trees and the golf courses and the entire ecosystem to experience winter as well.
Yeah. Real quick, for anyone who wants to find more information on either Huron Meadows, the activities happening there, or just Huron Clinton Metroparks in general, what should they do? Where should they go?
Go to our website, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, metroparks.com. Super easy to remember.
Okay, awesome. This is Amy McMillan, the CEO of the Huron Clinton Metroparks. So happy to have you here.
I am so happy to be here. Thank you. And seriously, we really appreciate how much you love the Metro Parks, and we look forward to seeing everybody out all year long.
Yeah, it's a crown jewel of green space here in Metro Detroit, and aren't we happy? Aren't we lucky? Coming up after the break, we're going to dive a little bit more into the actual snowmaking process that happens at Huron Meadows. Stay tuned for more right after the break. And welcome back to Brother Nature. So we just spoke to Amy McMillan, who's the CEO of the Huron Clinton Metroparks, and of course she's got a whole network of parks to really enjoy. This week we are exploring the Huron Meadows element of that. That's way out in Brighton. Believe it or not, the system actually does stretch all the way out there. We got to speak to, who is he? Adam Habercorn. He's the Western District Maintenance Manager. Now, it's a lot of maintenance that goes into that park, and I have to say, you're putting on a whole cross-country ski race, it's even more. Take a look. How do you know when you're in Michigan? Well, one of the best ways is to know how crazy the weather can be. Because earlier this week, we obviously had snow. All that has since disappeared. But if you're at the Huron Meadows Metro Park, that's not really an option, especially when there's a ski race going on. That's why here, they actually make their own snow.
So luckily we had cold temperatures that first started right at the beginning of December. So we were able to make snow. Then we loaded it into the spreaders. To cover the trail that we have right now was about 4 days to get a decent base. And then they've added snow since then because we've had a couple freeze-thaw cycles, which that creates about a 4 to 6 inch ice base on the bottom. So it's like our own refrigerator. So we were able to create that ice base early in December. Now with the warm up, yesterday morning at this time, it was around 61 degrees here. It was absolutely insane.
Interesting, because I I mean, 61 degrees in the, beginning of January is, well, sounds like Michigan to me,
Yes, yeah, that's unfortunately the ups and downs that we have to work with. And Huron Meadows and 2 other locations in Michigan are the only ones that are making snow for cross-country skiing at this point in time. And there's only a handful in the United States that do it.
This is the only metro park that actually makes it snow. And is there a number for the volume that you've actually created?
It's in the thousands of yards of snow that is moved to take and make this happen. And the dedicated crew here at Huron Meadows, they get in their tractors and their loaders and off they go, and they'll go for 8-hour days and spread snow for, like I said, about 4 days straight to get that base.
So let's start kind of with the beginning, because there's some real science behind this. How do you make snow?
So we need temperatures to be less than 28 degrees. The lower the humidity, the better, which is called the wet bulb temperature. So when we get a good wet bulb temperature of 28 degrees or lower, we can make snow. We use pressurized water and air, and it comes out of the snow guns and forms man-made snow.
Is this mimicking a natural process, or is this entirely artificial?
Essentially, it's artificial. We're creating sleet. The snow molecules that we're creating are a round molecule versus your traditional beautiful snowflake that has substance and coolness to it. We're making round ice balls. So you're spraying water up in the air, very fine, and then it turns into the frozen round ball that we're able to spread, or downhill resorts are able to take and groom out on the resort hills.
So we actually have a good little vantage here. This is the snow you guys made. If we're just talking about this pile, when did you start making it? How much did you make? And I guess, what is the equipment you're actually using to do it?
That's a polecat snowmaker, which actually comes from Midland. They're the #1 snowmaking company in the world, right here in Midland, Michigan. Okay. So it's pretty cool. This pile was about a day and a half, about 24 hours when the conditions are right. Teens are the best temperature. If you get below the teens, you're actually evaporating a lot of snow. The moisture goes up and you'll actually have a steam cloud above you. Once it's gone through its process of a couple warm-ups and freezes, then it gets that ice base, and the groomer that we use has carbide tip teeth that is able to take and chew up a frozen block of ice and turn it into a processed, we call it corn snow or sugar snow, that creates a really nice skiing surface.
I was going to ask, when it comes to cross-country skiing, what is sort of the preferred texture of snow, I suppose is the right word?
The fanatical cross-country skiers love variable conditions because they use waxes to make their skis go faster. So trying to nail the exact right wax combination is also part of the game.
So this sounds like it's art and science then.
Absolutely. And weather throws the whole thing, because you never know what you're going to have. Like we said, the giant fluctuations in temperatures that we see in Michigan winters of flash freezes after a raining flood, it really creates a lot of interesting stuff, and it takes some specialized equipment to be able to take and go through those processes.
There were 2 races that were going on actually last weekend. Was the Frosty Freeze race, which was on Saturday, and the Crazy Classic on Sunday. I guess they're a fan of acronyms down at the Huron Clinton Metroparks. One of those polecat machines actually costs about $25,000. So that's pretty expensive, which is why they only use one. They make a giant mound instead of some of the other places where they'll actually make a whole lot. They'll have a lot dotted along the hill. That way they can actually cover the entire hill for your downhill skiers. Of course, that was often art and science. Coming up, we're going to look even closer at the science of making snow with a very good friend of mine. Stay tuned for more. And welcome back to Brother Nature. So, of course, we got to take a look at some of the fun recreating that goes on around here. But now for the really interesting part. I have with me Coulter Stewart. If Brother Nature had a sibling, it would be this guy. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Jack?
I appreciate you being here. Coulter, honestly, is as much a nature buff as anybody, and he actually gets to put together some really, really cool stuff. Coulter, tell us briefly what we're about to watch.
We are going to watch a video that when I first heard the concept for it, it absolutely blew my mind. There are things living in the clouds.
Clouds!
Sounds crazy. It sounds like a bonkers thing to say, but I talked to some researchers and scientists that work on studying this. I talked to the guy that actually went up in a Cessna, stuck his hand out of the window with a petri dish and cultured the things that live in the clouds, and then came back to the ground and grew them in a lab. So I think it's a really cool concept, and there are things living in the clouds.
Let's take a look at that concept right now. Cool.
I just learned that there are things living in the clouds, and Native American rain dances may have actually worked. Clouds are like giant rivers in the sky. A big thunderhead may contain millions of tons of water. If life on Earth has taught us anything, it's that where there is water, there's life. So what life forms are in the clouds? How did they get there, and what are they doing?
Everybody thought ice nuclei were coming from meteors or from dust storms from the Sahara or something, but I discovered that they were made by plants and bacteria.
This is not
So I flew up there. I held petri dishes out a little Cessna window.
He said he could see like the individual ice crystals impacting the plate. And when they brought those back to the lab and incubated them, he cultured species of Pseudomonas syringae from the cloud.
Pseudomonas syringae. It's a common plant pathogen infecting lots of different plants, including some that could be in your own backyard, like peach trees or tomato plants. It creates a biofilm on the plant's surface, made of particles so small they get carried up into the atmosphere by warm air currents, the rising heat from a forest fire, or even the stomping and shuffling of feet like in a Native American rain dance. Pseudomonas syringae isn't the only thing living in the clouds. As many as 80 different bacteria have been found in 1 cubic centimeter of cloud water.
There are also fungi that have this phenotype. There are pollens. There are plants that make pollen that when it gets in the atmosphere is a very good ice nucleating particle. This could be something that many different kinds of life forms are actually involved in.
Pseudomonas syringae have developed special adaptations for living in the clouds. It's resistant to the high levels of UV radiation found in the upper troposphere. After drifting around in the clouds for a while, the bacteria need to come back to the Earth's surface to infect other plants and start their life cycle over again.
Dust and dirt can cause nucleation too in the absence of the biology, but that's at much colder temperatures, so there's less chance of precipitation.
It's incredibly efficient at catalyzing freezing.
All rain on Earth, except in a few locations around the ocean, first forms as an ice crystal or as a snowflake. Even in the hottest desert, if you have rain, it started as an ice crystal. Oh, sorry. There's a phone call that I've been waiting for. I got to just answer for a minute.
While Russell takes that call, let's learn more about how Pseudomonas syringae helps form precipitation.
I wanted to learn more about nucleization, so I came to Mount Holiday.
Nucleization is essentially the process of water droplets accumulating on some sort of particle in the atmosphere.
There's a commercially available product called Snowmax. What that is Pseudomonas syringae that's been grown up in industrial scale fermenters.
With the Snowmax system, it's essentially emulating nature, and the bacteria is actually injected into the water lines for the snowmaking equipment. This is not something that, took engineers decades to develop. It was simply just copying nature. That's probably one of the unnerving thoughts to most people is understanding that there's bacteria that actually lives in our atmosphere.
When you were in Kenya, you noticed that the shuffling of the workers on the Kenya tea plants were creating dust that was going up into the atmosphere. Is that correct?
They were walking on probably decayed tea leaves of this thick because the trees would drop their leaves and then they would decay. The tea plantations had the most hail on Earth. That's hard to believe. on the tropics. It's right on the equator.
One thing that rain dances have in common from all over the world is that they do shuffle and stomp on the ground. This isn't direct proof that Native American rain dances worked, but it is proof that shuffling and stomping on the ground in some cases can send enough particles into the atmosphere to create precipitation.
The tea plantation connection, having high nuclei in the tea, on the leaves and then the hail, that's why we tested it, and that's what it came out to be, so there might be some truth in it.
Do you think there's a lot more life in the clouds that's yet undiscovered?
I think we know 10%. Maybe 9.
So microbes are partly responsible for controlling the weather. There are things living in the clouds, and Native American rain dances may have actually contributed to it raining. I'm Coulter Stewart. Remember to look for the wild where you are.
So Coulter's brand, The Wild Where You Are, really tries to encapsulate, I don't know. You could find stuff anywhere. Obviously, as you've noticed in that video, we're talking all around the world, but it's also right here. Coulter, where the heck did you learn about this stuff?
Books. Lots and lots and lots of books. I love stuff on evolutionary biology, ecology, evolutionary psychology. And this to me was what the kids call a scroll interrupter on social media. When I came across it, I had to set the book down and walk around like this for a little while because I could not believe that there was life in the clouds. So I had to get online, Google it, try and find, just find out more information about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's always the way you find your ideas, but clearly it led you down quite the rabbit hole.
Yeah, absolutely. Something else that I thought was really interesting about this is that the reason that these guys studied this and looked into it is because it was affecting crop production. And so there was corporate money behind researching it. And that's one of the reasons, I think maybe the only reason that we found out that there are things living in the clouds. And it just made me realize that there are so many interesting things around us that we're not even looking into because there's just not money behind the research to figure it out.
Sure. And I think if I recall from the video, this is the only thing that lives in the clouds?
No, there are tons of things that live in the clouds.
Oh, okay.
There are
Excuse me.
a lot, and a lot of them because they're not pathogens, because they're not causing any harm to crops. We don't study them, so there's not money behind figuring out what else is there. But when they went up and collected cloud water, they found lots and lots of life forms that are out there. So it's evolving, ongoing science, and there's a lot more to learn about the things that live in the clouds.
Is there anything? I mean, I hate to use the word benefit. I hate to use the word benefit, but I'm guessing there are benefits from this research, right? Real quick.
There are benefits. They use this, as we saw, in snowmaking for ski hills. They have figured out where these plant pathogens are coming from so they can mitigate the infections in crops, so there's more food.
Okay.
Lots of benefits.
A lot more clips from Coulter Stewart on his YouTube channel, The Wild Where You Are, and we're going to obviously have him back on the show later on this year. That's everything for this week on Brother Nature. Fox 2 Detroit Live is coming up next.